Alright, so I'm trying to start up a new channel here and trying to find content that people are interested in. So I'm going to kind of rip off some other people here and do a video on 5 tools that I enjoy having, or 5 of my more favorite tools. This one here is a fairly inexpensive tool. It's made by Easyread. It's a 33-piece quarter stick set. It's fairly inexpensive, but I find it extremely handy for one particular job I seem to do often. I work on a lot of Duramax diesels and having to change the injection pumps on them. I ended up taking the low pressure pump off the back side of them in order to clear without having to remove as much as you're supposed to get them out. Give myself just a little more room, a little wiggle room. And this larger quarter stick here along with the Torx bit in it works just perfect to fit down in that very tight spot and remove the 4 bolts that hold that pump on. So this bought off the SnapOn truck. No, you could probably get it cheaper online. Seems like I spent probably $120 on it, but considering the amount of time it saved me, it is $120 very well spent. The socket set, just a little spline, get her to focus here, maybe not. Well, their spline socket's all metric, comes with a shorter ratchet. Work for a GM dealership. It's been very handy for a couple recalls we've had on ignitions. Just an overall good little cheap set of tools. Alright, next tool, fairly simple little tool. It's a SnapOn test light. But this one here has a digital readout on it. Works fairly similar to a multimeter. So handy just to hook up and go for a quick test. I know a lot of guys really like their power probes, and I've got 3 of them myself, and I use them when I need them. But for quick, down and dirty tests, I really like just a test light. This one is so handy. Got a battery set up here that I'm hoping still charged up. Yeah. We get a reading here. Get a reading a little backwards, but it lights up red for you when you're hooked up negative and testing for a positive. Shows 12.6 volts. Reverse this thing. And hard to tell all the glare, but it lights up green if you go off of the positive side and check. So you're able to check your powers and your grounds pretty quick with this little tool. Again, it's just a Snap-on test light. I've got several other test lights, and this one here seems to be my go-to. It's kind of saved my bacon a couple of times, and finding bad relays and such. Have 12-volt system and relay being bad and only getting 8 volts through the other side of it. So it's nice to be able to see what your voltage is. Granted, you're not carrying a load through it, but it's still a good tool. Very handy. My number 3 tool, so popular, you see them all over the internet, see dozens of YouTube videos on these Milwaukee fuel tools. This one is an M12 with a 3/8 drive impact. This thing's a lot of wear on it. It's not quite a year old yet, and I use this thing every day on everything. It doesn't have as much torque as, say, SnapOn, but this one being $160 and SnapOn's being $600, I go with this one every day. Again, handy little tool. So small. Compared here, I can cover that up with my hand, and I'm not no giant. I've got little hands. Compact, easy to get in. I love it for dash work. Taking columns loose and stuff like that. Comes with a second battery. Good charger. lasts forever and the batteries charge quick. This has been an excellent investment. One of these days I might invest a little bit more heavily into more Milwaukee cordless, because this one's just been exceptional. Have a 1/2 inch Ingersoll Rand. That's a super good gun too. Very powerful, but it's big, bulky, and heavy, and the batteries for it are just extremely expensive. Good gun, but I would much rather have these Milwaukees like this. They're just so handy, so small and easy to get in to tight spots. Alright, see these in almost everybody's toolboxes when they do a toolbox tour. This is a Snap-on 1/2 inch drive tech angle torque wrench. Would turn it on for you, but I keep the batteries out of it because I don't want the thing corroding up while it's just stored away in the toolbox. This thing was pretty expensive, but the fact that it does your angles in everything you do anymore when you're tightening bolts, torquing them to spec, you'll torque them to a certain foot-pound, certain inch-pound, and then you have to draw it on down to a certain angle. Back when we first started doing that, I had a gauge that we used. You know, clip it to your ratchet and clip it to some solid surface, and very troublesome to try to get it to stay still and work correctly. This thing's just been an amazing tool. Like I said, it's a lot of money, but again, Snap-on, they make some great stuff. The teeth on this is so fine tooth for a torque wrench. Super good tool. It doesn't get used nearly as much as, say, that Milwaukee cordless impact, but when I need this, this saves your bacon every time. Alright, my last tool. I got just a super deal on this thing. It's a Launch XPoint 431 Pad 2, as you can see there. These things are sold on the Mack truck. They sell on there for somewhere around $2,500 to $3,000. Really, really expensive tools, really. But this one here, like I said, I got just a stupid killer deal on it. Snap-on had it on his truck. It was a trade-in, so I got this thing like super dirt cheap. I use this thing all the time. Use it as the scan tool, which is opening up now. Updates for it are pricey enough, but it covers so many applications. And one of my favorite parts is you can open this thing up and use it as a regular tablet too. I don't know if this thing will connect to my Wi-Fi here. I don't know if I've ever had it connected, but good tool. There's better out there, but for what I paid for this, I really can't complain too much. Alright everyone, so here's my 5 favorite tools, you might say, or at least the tools I tend to turn to the most. Like I said, I'm just trying to get a channel started here, so anyone watching these videos, you have any ideas of what you'd like to see, or want a toolbox tour, or anything along that line, give me some ideas. Help a fella out. I try to come up with some interesting stuff, but a lot of times I just don't have the time to cover it. I'm hoping to alleviate some of that here shortly, but until then, I'll try to turn out the best content I can. Unfortunately, right now we're just recording on a cell phone. We're late December, so we're getting close to Christmas. After this Christmas rush is over, I'm hoping to get a decent camera to record these videos with and take you all along and hopefully find some content that everyone's interested in. Y'all take care. Have a good Christmas, because it is almost Christmas time. And if you would, please like and subscribe.